YouTuber The Business just dropped a long live addressing the Just Pearly, along with a bunch of other things. I've seen like 1 minute into the intro, and of course I didn't watch the interview she had with Nick, but is things that I didn't hear that was said on there. You know, I mean, I don't even know what's going on. Every time I see a video, it's something new I'm hearing, and but I'm gonna see what he's talking about.
First, a brief recap.
You know?
So that's why they call you a white supremacist.
That is why they say that.
Because you feel like by changing the entire demographic makeup of a country, it's going to completely change the country. The same way if in Poland they switched it out with Nigerians, it would be a completely different country.
Exactly, yeah. How do you feel? Well, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I mean, do you think that makes me a white supremacist to say that?
No, that kind of makes sense, like what you're saying. Personally, I'm trying to get my Africans in America, so we're not gonna support that. like, please make it easy for me to immigrate next year.
Well, I will say, there are more industrious than American blacks.
Get blessing in.
He can stay.
Yeah. Was she white?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the best Karens.
Yeah,
we do Karen it better than anyone else.
That's true. Yeah, that's not sure that's like something to be proud of. It kind of is though. Actually, I'm actually in a way kind of like pro Karen.
Karens are needed. I'm not saying sometimes we're in the wrong, but I honestly think like Karens are the ones that do the shit that no one else wants to do. Now, you might have been on the negative end of the Karen stick, right? But they all probably wanted you fired or wanted you blacklisted, right? Karen's just the one that did it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, from my point of view, if the guy next door is...
But Karens are usually in the wrong 98 or 99.99% of the time. Like, they're not right. Like, that's the whole point of the title. It was because a woman did it. She wrongfully accused the individual of being and doing something. At one, they weren't. And two, they're not. Racially profiled him and just assumed that he was doing something he wasn't doing. Basically, what you're doing is going about it the Machiavellian way. As far as deceit, trickery. It's not good. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the person that you always wanted fired, you caught them stealing and you just, I'm gonna tell on them. That's not a Karen. A Karen, somebody who walks up on you while you're minding your business and drops hell right in front of you to try to destroy your life. And either the reinforcements who comes whenever she calls or shines the Batman symbol in the sky, either they're going to believe her or they're going to see past the deceit and lies and they're going to believe you. You know, the truth. Not your truth, not her truth, but the truth.
Guy next door is having this loud party, and I'm the one that goes and complains. Everyone wanted it to stop.
That's right.
I'm pro Karen.
But that's not a Karen, though. You know, I don't think that that's a Karen. Somebody's somebody jamming loud music, and I wanted to stop, and my daughters are trying to sleep. I'm not gonna be a Karen if I address them. You know, it's like, I don't know. Like, am I that out of the loop? I don't know. I don't think that's Karen.
The only times I'm on time for things is when I get the time wrong. When I think I'm supposed to be there way earlier than I'm actually supposed to be there. Because I thought I was supposed to be here at 3.
Oh, really?
That's why I texted you. I texted you I'm on my way because I thought I was already 10 minutes late when I was leaving.
Yeah, well,
So-
it's okay. Blessing was more late African.
Well, he's black.
Yeah, I seen that tidbit too. I don't know. I guess blessing is there, and I mean, whoever blessing is, they let that one slide. So carry on.
I'm giving you a hard time. I don't mean
Ha, ha, ha.
For real.
By the way, the audio is what it is deliberately.
I couldn't.
I
I
won't differentiate it from what you heard previously.
all right.
But brief aside.
See the shirt.
Ha.
You see the shirt.
He's really offended. But your argument was the Holocaust was not special and all countries have done that.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
you're saying, why is the
It's like you would want people. YouTube is a platform, man, where I've seen the lead attorney say that the world is so big and YouTube is just a speck on the spectrum. But whenever you enter into the YouTube world or universe, it's massive. You know, but the most important part is the stuff that's captured on here and put out for the masses to see, it stays out there. Even if you retract that video, somebody is more than likely already caught it. So once it's caught in their net, what happens is they distribute it out for even more people to see. So now it's just stuck out there, just like all the videos that YouTube tries to, or not YouTube, but whenever damage control is trying to be done, people will start blocking videos. But usually what happens is if it's a controversial topic and it goes viral, before you bring that video down, it's already caught in the nets of thousands of people. And that's literally people who are just uploading it. Not even the people who have seen it before they get their hands on it to re-upload it. You just... It's that infamous Spider-Man quote. You know what I'm saying? Like, with great power comes great responsibilities. Wonder why people get tried as an adult. You do adult things. You know what I'm saying? Certain excuses you can fall back on, fine and dandy, depending on what it is. But you can't run in mud willingly and then step on somebody's shoes. I can't even say accidentally, and then get mad at how they react. You step on someone's fresh J's. They first time wearing it. When you decided to go mud running. And then they react hostile and then you react hostile in return as if you're a victim, you know. Mine.
Holocaust special?
Yeah, basically.
Oh. What do you mean, basically?
Well, yeah, I mean, because of course, you know, we're getting into the details.
Bro, the Holocaust sparked a world war. The Holocaust sparked a world war. He was following in the footsteps of Genghis Khan. What is he talking about that has happened all over the world? Maybe I need to brush up on my history. I might not know, but calling the flag on the plate.
Of it, but yeah, that's the gist.
Yeah, I mean, but you kind of deny it happened.
I deny some of the parts of
You
it.
deny parts of it don't seem realistic to you. You
Right.
think they're embellished upon.
I think they're embellished. Yeah.
The same way. This sounds.
The problem with this goes back to the whole my feeling, I feel like, my truth, this, that. Like, it doesn't matter what you think. Like, unless you were living in that time and literally going through what those people were going through in that moment. And I seen this because this is about whenever she's about to compare it to slavery. Bro, if you weren't living in that time, you don't know what it's like. You don't know. You never knew what it was like. Like, I think that's one of the biggest problems. Like, people really don't understand. Like, they don't until they're thrown in that situation. This is the equivalent to people who say, man, if that was me, I would have. But then whenever the opportunity presents itself, you realize the true character of the person behind the words that they speak. This is no different from that. And it's unfortunate you have people that'll sit there and say something like that. Like, it'll be better. I don't know much about it. I ain't gonna speak on it. That'd be more respected, you know. Not sitting there talking about what you think about something that's controversial as slavery. Not even to mention, he talking about the holiday. I mean, it's the same. It's hand in hand the same way that they're comparing the two. We were both hunted. Bro, we were both hunted like prey. Our ancestors were hunted. Some people are still getting the immature treatment in random parts of the country. Hunted. And you question a few things that you may think was overrated. Paint this picture, right? I'm gonna give you a time to kill story format. Imagine you had a long day working in the field, and we're not even gonna go slavery. We're gonna go post-slavery. We will go segregation. You had a long day working. Whatever it is you could do, you were allowed. Your wife working at the tables of someone else's home, taking care of someone else's kids. You, hard labor. Hard labor. Not working in AC. Not working under the roof of someone. I'm talking natural heat burning your neck, hard labor, no electrolytes, sweating it all out. There ain't no Gatorade back then. Lord knows if they even had water breaks. Hard labor. Just to come home And as soon as you get home, you hear out in front of your house anarchy. It sounds like a crowd is in front of your house. Mind you, it's dark. But fortunately, but unfortunately, you can see out there. What do you see? You see these large cross stakes stuck in the front of your yard on fire. Who are you gonna call? Who's coming to your aid? Because I'm pretty sure the people that you're thinking about calling is out there with them. By that person. So the anarchy amp up. They kick indoors. You might have something, but for what, 10, 15 people? They subdue you, beat you to a pulp, whatever. Or they might just subdue you and make you watch while they do whatever they want. Use your imagination, man. My grandparents lived through this in Louisiana. The internet has made people comfortable, man. Saying whatever they feel like, disrespecting whoever they feel like. Because, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You cancel them? People don't know what true fear and terror is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear the famous Mike Tyson line, everybody has a plan till they're punched in the mouth. Nobody will say certain things that they say if it was face to face with certain individuals. I mean, you catch people in the comment section doing the same exact thing. Oh yeah. But man, Lord knows you probably walked past them. Probably walked past that person and was like, man, feel sorry for them. Or you just, they don't look like what those words carry. I don't know if she's racist, but I know with that statement, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not something you're supposed to be speaking on anyways. You know, people say the problem is we don't talk about it. But that's not really the problem. The problem is we need to have those conversations with the people who matter. That's what the problem is. Those conversations need to be held with the people who really matter. Not people who don't have any facts. They just come with their opinion, what they feel, and how they think. Like, don't nobody care. Don't nobody have time for all that. Whenever you take a test and you put in whatever answers you want, those answers to you feel like the right answer, but guess what? You're wrong. You're wrong, man. You know? I don't even know if I want to watch anymore. I don't. Like, thinking about my grandparents alone, that's not even slavery. That's segregation. That's the crazy part. They was doing that in segregation days. In slavery days, it was legal by law. We were property. Our ancestors were property. Our grandparents said it's treated less than animals. They were worth less than the cattle. I don't care about what it is you think or what your feelings and your thoughts on a subject that wouldn't have even happened to you back in that day. You would have been bypassed. They would ask you if you want to join along. What are you talking about? People are going back and forth trying to figure out if she's racist. It doesn't matter. The foundation is already laid out. The statement alone is disrespectful. That's what it is. If I sit there and watch somebody prepare and then indulge in the act of doing harm to another person while I sit right next to them, I'm just as guilty if I allow it to happen. Guilty by association. If you riding in the car and somebody else hop out the car and rob a bank and then hop back in the car with you, you're going to jail with them.
Gosh.
Oh boy.
They're gonna get trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they all.
When he wrote Roots, the myth he wanted his people to live by, if I'm not mistaken, was the characters in the story. I was watching a lead attorney last night and he mentioned there was a number one podcaster in history. I forgot his name. I'll tag the lead attorney's video in the description, but
A white man, Dan Carlin, taught me this. Let me tell you a little something about the slave trade. Dan said that, they would have these slave ships on, just in the ocean, and they were boarding up the slaves. Well, but guess what, guys? It wasn't like they would get 10 slaves on the ship and then just sail across the ocean. It's not how it happened. They would want to fill the ships up. It's like when they deport these Hispanics. Do you think they just put 3 Hispanics on a plane and then fly the plane to Mexico? They fly the plane to Guatemala? Hell no. They wait till that plane is full and then they go. Well, that's how they used to do it back in the day. They used to wait for the ships to be full. Guys, this is going to break your fucking heart, man. Sometimes it took weeks. Sometimes it took months for those ships to be full. If you were one of the first ones on the ship, you might have to wait 30 days. You might have to wait 60 days on that ship in the sun in Africa. Guys, air conditioning? No, 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 no. Slave ship, bottom of the hull in Africa. Chained. Day and night. People dying. Disease. Vomit. Shit. Piss. Crying. Dead bodies all around for months. You were chained there for months before the fucking ships left, before it came to America, before your slavery started. Some of those slaves were on the ship for 200 days. They were on the ship for 230 days before the trip. This is not an embellishment. This is just reality.
Bro, this... For this to be my first video, I kind of feel like sometimes, man, people don't need to hear my opinion, but then sometimes I take a step back and I hear things like this. And then I think to myself, is my opinion really that bad? And then I answer myself, they don't need my opinion, they need the truth. You don't know the truth, you need to shut up and don't say nothing. The world needs to take that advice. The world.
Often, but that's what they do is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible, it was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people.
How do you make something that was horrible more horrible? You ever spoke to a parent who lost a child? You ever sat there with them and asked them how that experience made them feel? And then turn around and tell them that their feelings Yeah, I know you lost your child, but I just feel like you're making it more horrible than what it actually is. You know, maybe it wasn't that bad. Bro, the more I speak and think on this, the more disappointed I am. Very disappointed.
For those of you who may be new here, although I don't imagine how that could possibly be, you're here because I'm the guy that broke this news. I was the fellow who saw that the so-called darling of the black manosphere, Just Pearly Things, the white woman queen, who came and they sat there and bowed down immediately. I was the guy who saw when she talked to Nick Fuentes, all these other people ignored it. They didn't know what it was. All of them didn't know it. I was the guy who did that. So that's why tonight's audio, I'm making it what it is because I want it to be a little bit of a flashback for you. You can go listen to the original video, although you all have heard it a million times now. I posted it and the internet blew up. The internet exploded. YouTube went into meltdown. But that was last week.
Also, he discovered the clip. I mean, I kind of don't know how it was already on YouTube, but businesses claiming ownership that dropped, or not he's not claiming ownership. He's saying that he discovered the interview and these clips that have went viral, and he distributed.
I was talking about Pearly things last week because apparently no one else could be bothered to. But that's not who I want to talk about this week. No, this week I want to talk about everyone else. We're not turning this into the Pearly Things channel. We need to have a discussion about everyone else. That's what we need to have. And that's what I'm going to be doing here tonight. So now that you've heard some of the folks who did some of the talking, there's been a whole bunch of folk who've been running for cover ever since. And I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to review that, because we need to ask ourselves one basic question. How in the hell did she ever get in this space to begin with?
Bro.
How in the world did these individuals ever get a door opened for them? What in the world was it that they did? Who let them in? Now that we have identified the white supremacist culprits, it's time for us to do some clearing. It's time for us to do some clearing. Separate the wheat from the chaff. We need to start asking. I'm hosting this program tonight to ask one.
Oh man, my dog is about to go on a witch hunt. He about to go on a witch hunt.
Fundamental question. Who is it in black society who let her kind in? And the guilty parties are many. Some of them been trying to cover their asses and splain for the last week here. So I thought...
Alright, man. Alright. Oh, man. This is disgusting work, man. Oh, my goodness, bro. He said separate the wheat from the chaff, man. You can't. Use some Bible verses for this, man.
We just take this as an opportunity for us to go ahead and review that. First person I would like to go ahead and take a look at here will be Mediocre Tutorials, who was attempting to burnish his comedy credentials when this was brought to his attention, what was going on. Although it wasn't during his live stream, of course he was being dishonest. He already knew what was going on, but he was hoping it wouldn't be too bad. It was bad. When the chat room descended on him. The chat room started ripping him and mauling him. He tried to ignore it. He tried to explain it.
Dang.
But the people,
I didn't know,
wouldn't stop. So he had a couple of days to consider whether or not he wanted to go down with the Pearly ship. And he decided to put out a video saying that he was holding her accountable. Now, I'm going to just play some parts of it. I'm going to play some parts of it, not all of it, because you don't need to hear all of it. But I want you to understand this was soul-wrenching for him. This was real hard because he only wanted to tiptoe his way into it.
Onto a platform which is primarily supported.
Oh.
Beat around the bush for this conversation, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. Pearl, you f***ed up. You knowingly invited a white supremacist and a self-proclaimed racist onto a platform which is primarily supported by at least initially, and produced by black people. This comes across as insensitive to downright nasty.
Insensitive. Boy, he making it real soft. It was insensitive. Excuse me. Slavery was exaggerated and black people are lazy. That's not insensitive. That's
Disrespect.
repeat after me, mediocre. Racist. That's racist. She's a racist. A white supremacist. You don't just have clip after clip after clip and statement after statement after statement. She got real comfortable with Nick Fuentes. It's not insensitive. That is racist. So this was real hard for him. He really didn't want to do this. He really just wanted to say, hey, can I just continue to get the bag and deal with her and y'all just take it how you live? So it was rough on him. It was rough on him. However, in all fairness, I'm going to let him go ahead and keep talking. In all fairness,
Lend itself well to demonstrate the respect for the people that watch your content and that you employ. I don't think that your platform would be as big as what it is today if it wasn't for the essential utilization of black people, black relationship topics, and black talent. And the talent came from all over when you include the likes of an Andrew Tate, all the way down to a Brittany Renner. And even from a content creator perspective, from me to a Melanie King, to a Sarah Garvey, to a King Riches, to an Auntie Jenny. So
he does a lot of naming here and stuff. So he's giving his I Have a Dream speech. Wonder where we're going.
for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America, my Africans. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
They're gonna
You're
be
gonna
in
get
trouble.
yourself
This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by.
She said Africans and Americans.
So they often, but that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible. It was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people.
Now, what's crazy is that I came across these comments while I was live streaming a couple of days.
Cap. I'm gonna let this slide here, mediocre, but dude, y'all gotta stop this dishonesty. Cap. You were aware of it from the minute it happened. Cap.
Days ago, and what started out as a laughy, jokey live stream where I wanted to talk about my time up in London.
You mean where you wanted to try to bypass and overlook the scandal that was going on and only focus on your time in London? Okay, he's sitting up here campaigning for a day pass.
Quickly diverted to one of the worst live streams that I've ever had in my life, and honestly, it was a trip to hell as I discovered the magnitude of the conversation that she had with this figure by the name of Nick Fuentes. Specific to the comments regarding slavery being embellished, I said this on the stream and I maintain it today, that Pearl needs to be held responsible for this comment. Likening a quote from the writer of Roots explaining a myth for his people to hold on to does not negate.
Bro, not just that comment. All of the comments. Bro, all of the comments that she made. All of them. In its entirety. As a whole. All of them.
The documented history of the atrocities that happened to black people. And I'd argue that Roots was a light depiction of the savagery that my forefathers had to go through to ensure that I would be here today. But let me explain.
I mean, I guess I understand that statement. Had to go through to get him where he is today. Yeah, I guess so. Everything happens for a reason. you know, just a slight change in time, a slight change in direction can change. It's like that in Marvel, whenever they did the time lapse and they went back in the time, and any little thing can change the future. So make sure you do everything right the same way and all that. Like, I guess I understand that. But as far as them, I mean, I don't know, I'm probably diving too deeper into it, like just mentally, but as far as like they didn't have, I mean, they didn't have any option, either that or dead. They were forced. Anybody who fought died. Anybody who resisted. I mean, you heard, you look it up. And what they did to the people who tried to run away. The people who tried to fight back. You know, not all were successful in their attempts. So like, with the,
And a little bit further, a light depiction of the savagery that my forefathers had to go through to ensure that I would be here
I'm tripping
today. But let me explain a little bit further.
To go through.
Let me explain a little bit further. So, like I say, he's working up his nerve. He's trying to work up his nerve. I'm giving him time. This is hard for him. He thought he had found the bag, and he thought he had found a replacement for the bag. So this was hard for him because he knew that by doing this, it was going to create a permanent rift, or at least it's going to create a difficult one. So he's trying to be diplomatic, but at the same time, he's trying to save his bacon with black folk.
When you got specific in certain comments that reflected on CP time, and let me also say this, is that generally CP time is something that's laughed amongst people of melanation, but it's not taken as a joke when you're doing it with a person who is a self-proclaimed racist. Now that I've had the opportunity to digest all of the information.
I mean, I think you mean now that you've had the opportunity to digest the backlash from your viewers in real time in your chat room on your super chat. Now that you've had a chance to
how bad was the dang, did this chat try to hang him during his life? Bro, did this chat try to crucify him during his live? Yeah, this is too much for me. I'm signing off. I can't, man. I can't, man. Oh, man. This is disgusting work, man. Disgusting.
Sometimes, guys, y'all know they would brand the slaves. Can you imagine what it is to just, be in shackles and they hold you down and they take the damn iron out of the fire and just something like that'll change your life? Well, guess what? They would put them on the ship after they were branded. And then they would just stay on the ship waiting for the ship to leave, but it would take weeks, months. Well, guess what? In that time, these white people, they were wheeling and dealing. I'll trade you my 15 slaves for your 30 slaves and $30. So sometimes the slaves would be sold while they were in the ship. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean if you're in the slave ship and you're sold? It means they have to take you off the ship and they have to rebrand you.